We're back to Cougar Paws. I'm your host, Michael Dawes. We're discussing with Jane Howard and Brenda Kaiser the ongoing partnership that exists between Barton and CPI Qualified Plan Consultants. Brenda, we talked a little bit about some incentives that employees have, or potential employees. You guys actually make it pretty easy, and you're progressive in how you go about helping your workforce stay educated. You offer tuition assistance, some cost sharing. Can you go into that, both for the 2-year program and for the certificate program?
Well, for the certificate program, our employees, we do a cost sharing, so we'll help pay for some of their expenses to pursue their certification, and because it is so important to CPI, and so that's one of the reasons that we assist in that cost. Then we'll also provide bonuses once they pass those exams. They can earn anywhere from $125 up to $500 for a bonus to pass those certification programs, and that's a real incentive for employees. And then once you get your designation, there's additional bonus money, $1,000 on top of that. So that's another added incentive, you know, to pursue those classes individually and then to get the certification and to complete the whole series.
Okay. Those the 10 hours, do you prefer that you have them as an employee and then they go through that program? Or do you see some that come through the program and then come to the CPI and say, hey, I've got this training? Or how does that usually work in that regard?
Usually employees, the normal fashion would be that they would be employed by CPI, and once they've been there about 6 months, they can get that, pursue that certification program. And so that's the normal way. There are individuals, I myself started I did it backwards, so I was pursuing the pension courses and then became employed by CPI. But the normal fashion is that you're employed first and then pursue the 10-hour courses. I
can see if you have the basic computer skill level that many people do nowadays, and these 10 hours, those are 1, 2, 3, 4 classes basically, and all of a sudden there you've got earning potential. I mean, it just seems like it's not that far down the road that you actually make your career horizon look that much more appealing.
Definitely. I think it just makes you as an individual, it gives you the broad knowledge base of the industry. So it increases your knowledge base and helps you see the entire industry as opposed to just the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It expands your view.
So if somebody's interested in pursuing pension administration through CPI, it's probably a good idea just to go through CPI first, get employed, and then go through this program, I would imagine.
That's correct, because we can help with the costs. So.
Okay. Well, and listeners, if they want to actually do this, do they just go through the hiring process at CPI in order to do that?
They sure can. They can apply. We have a receptionist up front who's willing to take applications from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night, so they can apply for employment at CPI, and we'd be happy to review all of their information. So
you've got 460 employees, most of them here, but some spread out through the United States. How do you maintain a workforce, and how do you grow? Because you guys, at one point I knew you had 300 employees, so you expanded by 100. It just must take every ounce of energy to keep things going and keep the education going and keep this workforce moving.
Well, we have a great team, HR team, that each of us have different roles and responsibilities. So we have 2 individuals that work full-time on the recruitment for the different positions that we fill at CPI, and then we have another group that works with the education. And so it's partnering together and everyone working together to make that work.
So Jane, what's on the horizon for Barton CPI as we move forward in making sure that we continue to be there for CPI as they're trying to expand their workforce?
I think one of the things is that we do work closely with CPI as their needs change, and they are going to change, that we be ready to do that. In the upcoming semester, in fact, we're just going to start some classes in March, the second class on the 401k, and then the second higher level class as well. Another thing that they're looking at is by next fall we're going to add another class which would be a QPA certification, so we're looking at that. And then as I had stated a little bit earlier, we're also looking at the tax exempt and governmental plans. So it's just keeping up to date, talk to them. We've done things in the past. We've worked with them. They've served their purpose, and we have found other things to continue on with. So I think this partnership, I've enjoyed this one. I've had the opportunity to work within this partnership and work with Brenda and people at CPI for a very long time. And they are one of our major employers, and it is our responsibility to help serve their educational needs.
I just think how difficult it would be for CPI. It's already hard enough, and especially when the unemployment rate was so low for so many years. But it would be near impossible for CPI to continue in its realm of finding these individuals and training them and keeping that training going if the college weren't here. So, and likewise, the college obviously relies on CPI because of all the employees that you have and what it means for education. So it seems to be a good quid pro quo effect there.
Definitely. And I also think that the college definitely improves the quality of life for our employees. And that's a major factor, too, to retaining employees locally. So that's something that CPI does not take for granted. We appreciate all the musicals, the ball games, and everything that gets the community together.
Okay, well, that's all for this show. I do appreciate both of you for being here.
Thank you.
And this is Michael Dawes saying so long for Cougar Paws.